Your mind is the most powerful tool you possess. It's the key to unlocking your potential, achieving your dreams, and living a life of purpose and fulfillment. But here's the catch. If you don't learn to control your mind, it will control you. And let me tell you, that's a dangerous game to play. You see, every day, we're bombarded with thousands of thoughts. Some of these thoughts lift us up, inspire us, and push us forward. But others, they're like anchors holding us back, keeping us stuck in place, afraid to move, afraid to grow. Now, I want you to imagine for a moment that your mind is like a garden, a beautiful, fertile garden with endless potential. But here's the thing about gardens. They don't take care of themselves. If you neglect your garden, what happens? Weeds start to grow. They creep in slowly at first, but before you know it, they're everywhere, choking out the beautiful flowers and fruits you want to cultivate. Your thoughts are like those plants in your mental garden. The positive, empowering thoughts are the flowers and fruits. The negative, limiting thoughts, those are the weeds. And just like in a real garden, if you don't actively tend to your mental garden, pulling out those weeds and nurturing the good plants, your garden, your mind will become overrun. But here's the good news. You are the gardener of your mind. You have the power to choose which thoughts you allow to take root and which ones you pluck out before they can grow. This power, my friends, is what separates the achievers from the dreamers, the doers from the wishers. Now, I know what some of you might be thinking, but it's not that easy. I can't control my thoughts, and to that I say you're right. It's not easy, but it is simple, and more importantly, it's necessary. Controlling your mind isn't about never having a negative thought. That's impossible. We're human after all. No, controlling your mind is about recognizing those negative thoughts when they pop up and choosing not to let them take over. Let me give you an example. Imagine you're about to give a big presentation at work. As you're walking to the conference room, a thought pops into your head. What if I mess up? What if they don't like my ideas? Now you have two choices. You can let that thought grow, let it feed on your fears and insecurities until it becomes a monster that paralyzes you. Or you can acknowledge the thought, thank it for its concern, and then replace it with something more empowering. I've prepared for this. Now I want to share with you 5 strategies for taking control of your mind before it starts controlling you. These aren't quick fixes or magic pills. They're tools, habits that you need to cultivate day in and day out. But I promise you, if you commit to these strategies, you'll see a transformation not just in your thinking, but in your life. Strategy number 1, develop awareness. You can't change what you don't notice. The first step in controlling your mind is becoming aware of your thoughts. Most of us go through our days on autopilot, barely noticing the constant chatter in our heads. But that chatter is shaping our reality, influencing our decisions, and determining our actions. So your first task is to start paying attention. Throughout your day, pause and check in with yourself. What are you thinking right now? How are those thoughts making you feel? Are they pushing you towards your goals or pulling you away from them? This awareness doesn't come overnight. It's a skill, and like any skill, it takes practice. Start small. Set reminders on your phone to check in with your thoughts 3 times a day. As you get better at it, increase the frequency. Eventually, this awareness will become second nature. And here's a little secret. The simple act of observing your thoughts often changes them. It's like shining a light into a dark room. Suddenly, those scary shadows don't look so frightening anymore. Strategy number 2, challenge your thoughts. Once you're aware of your thoughts, the next step is to challenge them. Don't just accept every thought that pops into your head as truth. Question it, examine it. Is it based on fact or fear? Is it helping you or holding you back? Let's say you have a thought like, I'm not good enough for that promotion. Instead of accepting that thought, challenge it. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have for this thought? What evidence do I have against it? Is this thought helping me achieve my goals? Often you'll find that your most limiting thoughts are based on old beliefs, past experiences, or unfounded fears. By challenging these thoughts, you strip them of their power. You create space for new, more empowering thoughts to take root. Remember, your thoughts are not facts, they're stories you tell yourself. And if you don't like the story, you have the power to change it. Strategy number 3, reframe negative thoughts. Now that you're aware of your thoughts and you're challenging the negative ones, it's time to learn the art of reframing. Reframing is like being a translator for your own mind. You take a negative thought and translate it into a more positive, empowering one. For example, let's say you make a mistake at work. Your initial thought might be, "I'm such an idiot, I can't do anything right." That's a pretty harsh thought, isn't it? But what if we reframed it? What if instead you thought, "I made a mistake. That's how I learn and improve. Next time, I'll do better." See the difference? Both thoughts acknowledge the mistake, but one leaves you feeling defeated, while the other motivates you to grow. Reframing isn't about denying reality or pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding a more constructive way to view your experiences. It's about focusing on solutions instead of problems, on growth instead of failure. And here's the beautiful thing about reframing. The more you practice it, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, your mind starts doing it on its own, naturally gravitating towards more positive, empowering thoughts. Strategy number 4. Feed your mind good stuff. You've heard the saying, "You are what you eat," right? Well, the same principle applies to your mind. Your thoughts are shaped by what you feed your mind. If you constantly consume negative news, pessimistic conversations, and mindless entertainment, guess what kind of thoughts you're going to have? On the other hand, if you fill your mind with inspiring books, uplifting conversations, and meaningful content, your thoughts will reflect that positivity and purpose. Now, I'm not saying you should stick your head in the sand and ignore the world's problems, but be mindful of what you're consuming. For every negative news article you read, balance it with something positive. For every hour of mindless TV you watch, spend an hour reading a book that challenges and inspires you. And here's a powerful tip. Start your day by feeding your mind something good. Read a few pages of an inspiring book, listen to a motivational podcast, or simply spend a few minutes visualizing your goals. This sets the tone for your entire day, priming your mind for positive, productive thoughts. Strategy number 5, practice gratitude. Gratitude is like a secret weapon in the battle for control of your mind. It's impossible to feel grateful and negative at the same time. When you focus on what you're thankful for, you literally rewire your brain to notice more positive things in your life. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what if I don't have anything to be grateful for? To that I say, look harder. Look, there's always something to be grateful for, even in the darkest times. Maybe it's the air you're breathing, the fact that you woke up this morning, or the person who smiled at you on the street. Start small. Each day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They don't have to be big things. In fact, focusing on small, everyday blessings can be even more powerful. As you practice this habit, you'll find yourself naturally looking for things to be grateful for throughout your day. And here's the amazing thing. The more you practice gratitude, the more you'll find to be grateful for. It's like you're tuning your mind to a frequency of abundance and positivity. Now, these 5 strategies, developing awareness, challenging your thoughts, reframing negative thoughts, feeding your mind good stuff, and practicing gratitude are powerful tools. But they're just that, tools. They won't do the work for you. You have to commit to using them day in and day out. And let me tell you, it won't always be easy. There will be days when your mind feels like a runaway train speeding down the tracks of negativity and self-doubt. But remember, you are the conductor of that train. You have the power to slow it down, to change its direction. It's like working out. The first time you go to the gym, it's hard. Your muscles ache, you're out of breath, and you wonder if it's worth it. But you keep going, and slowly but surely, you get stronger. You can lift heavier weights, run faster and longer. Controlling your mind works the same way. The more you practice, the stronger your mental muscles become. And just like physical exercise, the benefits of controlling your mind extend far beyond the obvious. Yes, you'll have more positive thoughts and feel better emotionally, but you'll also find that you make better decisions, have more energy, and are more resilient in the face of challenges. You see, when you control your mind, you control your life. Your mind shapes your reality. It determines how you interpret events, how you respond to challenges, and ultimately what actions you take. Think about it. 2 people can face the exact same situation and have completely different experiences based on how they think about it. A setback can be a crushing defeat or a valuable lesson. A challenge can be an insurmountable obstacle or an exciting opportunity. The difference lies in how you choose to think about it. Now, I want to address something important. Controlling your mind doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or pretending everything is perfect all the time. That's not realistic or healthy. We're human beings, and we're meant to experience a full range of emotions, including sadness, anger, and fear. The goal isn't to never feel negative emotions. The goal is to not let those emotions control you. It's about acknowledging your feelings, understanding where they're coming from, and then choosing how to respond. For example, let's say you lose a big client at work. It's natural to feel disappointed, maybe even angry or scared about the future. Controlling your mind doesn't mean ignoring those feelings. It means allowing yourself to feel them, but then choosing thoughts that move you forward rather than keep you stuck. Instead of thinking, this is a disaster, I'm a failure, you might think, this is a setback, but it's also an opportunity to learn and improve. What can I do differently next time? You see, controlling your mind is about taking responsibility for your thoughts and, by extension, your life. It's about recognizing that while you can't always control what happens to you, you can always control how you respond. And let me tell you, that's an incredibly empowering realization. Because once you truly understand that you have the power to choose your thoughts, you unlock a level of freedom and potential that most people never experience. Now, I want to share with you a little secret, something that the most successful people in the world understand. Your thoughts create your reality. Not in some mystical woo-woo sense, but in a very real, practical way. You see, your thoughts determine your feelings. Your feelings influence your actions, and your actions create your results. It's a chain reaction that starts in your mind and ends in your reality. Let's break it down. Say you have the thought, I'm not good enough. That thought creates feelings of insecurity and self-doubt. Those feelings might cause you to hesitate, to play it safe, to avoid taking risks or putting yourself out there. And those actions, or lack of actions, lead to results that reinforce your original thought. You don't get the promotion, you don't start that business, you don't ask that person out on a date, and you think, see, I was right, I'm not good enough. But what if you change that initial thought? What if instead you thought, I am capable of growth and improvement? That thought might create feelings of confidence and curiosity. Those feelings might lead you to take action, to learn new skills, to volunteer for challenging projects, to step outside your comfort zone. And those actions would likely lead to results that prove your capability, reinforcing your new empowering thought. This is why controlling your mind is so crucial. Because when you control your thoughts, you're not just changing what happens in your head, you're changing what happens in your life. Now, I know some of you might be thinking, but what about positive thinking? Isn't that the same as controlling your mind? And the answer is not quite. Positive thinking is a good start, but controlling your mind goes much deeper. It's not just about replacing negative thoughts with positive ones. It's about developing a level of mental discipline that allows you to choose your thoughts deliberately, to direct your focus with intention, and to shape your mindset purposefully. It's the difference between being a passenger in your own mind and being the driver. A passenger might try to enjoy the view and hope for the best, but a driver chooses the destination, plans the route, and navigates the journey. And let me tell you, being the driver of your own mind is a game changer. It's what separates the extraordinary from the ordinary, the achievers from the dreamers. Now, I want to address a common misconception. Some people think that controlling your mind means you'll never have problems or face challenges. Nothing could be further from the truth. Life will always have its ups and downs. You'll still face obstacles, setbacks, and difficult times. The difference is in how you approach these challenges. When you control your mind, you approach problems with a sense of capability rather than helplessness. You see challenges as opportunities for growth rather than insurmountable obstacles. You maintain your composure in the face of adversity rather than falling apart. It's like being the captain of a ship. You can't control the weather or the waves, but you can control how you steer your ship, how you adjust your sails, and how you navigate through the storm. And here's the beautiful thing. As you practice controlling your mind, you'll find that you become more resilient. The challenges that once seemed overwhelming become manageable. The setbacks that once would have derailed you for weeks barely slow you down. You develop what I like to call mental toughness. It's the ability to stay focused, motivated, and positive even when things get tough. And let me tell you, mental toughness is one of the most valuable skills you can develop in life. Now, I want to share with you a powerful technique for developing this mental toughness. It's called the what if flip. Here's how it works. Whenever you catch yourself thinking a negative what if thought, flip it to a positive one. For example, instead of, what if I fail? Think, what if I succeed beyond my wildest dreams? Instead of, what if I'm not good enough? Think, what if I'm more capable than I ever imagined? Instead of, what if everything goes wrong? Think, what if everything works out even better than I planned? This simple flip can completely change your perspective, and as a result, your actions and outcomes. Remember, your mind is always playing out scenarios. Why not direct it to play out positive ones? Why not use your imagination to fuel your success rather than feed your fears? Now, I want to address something important. Controlling your mind isn't about ignoring reality or pretending that everything is perfect. It's about choosing a perspective that empowers you rather than limits you. It's about asking better questions. Instead of asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what can I learn from this? Instead of wondering, why can't I do this? Ask yourself, how can I do this? You see, the questions you ask yourself shape your focus, and what you focus on expands. So why not focus on solutions instead of problems, on opportunities instead of obstacles, on what you can do instead of what you can't? This shift in focus is subtle, but its effects are profound. It moves you from a reactive state to a proactive one. Instead of just responding to what life throws at you, you start creating the life you want. And that, my friends, is the real power of controlling your mind. It's not just about feeling better or thinking more positively. It's about taking charge of your life, about becoming the author of your own story rather than a character in someone else's. Now I want to talk about a critical aspect of controlling your mind that often gets overlooked. Self-talk. Self-talk is that constant stream of thoughts running through your head. It's the voice that comments on your actions, judges your decisions, and shapes your self-image. And let me tell you, for many people, that voice can be brutally harsh. Imagine if you had a friend who constantly criticized you, pointed out your every flaw, and told you that you weren't good enough. Would you keep that person in your life? Of course not. Yet so many of us allow our self-talk to do exactly that. Controlling your mind means becoming aware of your self-talk and consciously choosing to make it more supportive and empowering. It means being as kind and encouraging to yourself as you would be to a good friend. Now, this doesn't mean ignoring your mistakes or never critiquing yourself. It means doing so in a constructive, compassionate way. Instead of berating yourself for a mistake, acknowledge it, learn from it, and encourage yourself to do better next time. For example, instead of thinking, I'm such an idiot for messing that up, try, I made a mistake, but that's okay. What can I learn from this to improve next time? See the difference? Both acknowledge the error, but one leaves you feeling defeated while the other motivates you to grow and improve. And here's a powerful tip. Pay attention to the words you use in your self-talk. Words have power. They shape our perceptions and influence our emotions. So choose your words carefully, even or especially when you're talking to yourself. Instead of saying, I have to do this, try, I get to do this. Instead of, this is a problem, try, this is a challenge. These small shifts in language can make a big difference in how you perceive and approach situations. Now let's talk about another crucial aspect of controlling your mind. In today's world, we're bombarded with distractions, social media, emails, notifications. There's always something vying for our attention. And if we're not careful, these distractions can hijack our minds, pulling us away from what's truly important. Controlling your mind means being intentional about where you place your focus. It means choosing to concentrate on what matters most rather than getting swept away by every passing thought or external distraction. Think of your focus like a spotlight. By intentionally directing that spotlight, you illuminate what's truly important and keep your mind engaged with meaningful tasks and goals. This disciplined focus can significantly enhance your productivity, creativity, and overall well-being. By taking control of your mind, you ensure that your mental energy is dedicated to areas that enrich your life and help you achieve your aspirations. Whatever it shines on becomes brighter, more vivid, and more important in your perception. So ask yourself, where are you shining your spotlight? On your goals and dreams or on your fears and worries? One powerful technique for managing your focus is called the 90-second rule. Here's how it works. When you notice a negative thought or emotion arising, acknowledge it, but don't engage with it. Just observe it for 90 seconds. Most of the time, you'll find that it passes on its own. This technique helps you avoid getting stuck in negative thought spirals. It teaches you that thoughts and emotions are temporary. They come and go like clouds in the sky. You don't have to attach to them or let them control you. Another powerful tool for managing your focus is visualization. Top athletes, successful entrepreneurs, and high achievers in every field use visualization to program their minds for success. Here's how you can use it. Spend a few minutes each day visualizing yourself achieving your goals. See it in vivid detail. What does it look like? How does it feel? Engage all your senses in this mental rehearsal. This isn't just feel-good fluff. Visualization works because your mind doesn't distinguish between a vividly imagined experience and a real one. When you visualize success, you're literally training your brain for success. Now let's talk about a critical skill in controlling your mind, emotional regulation. Emotions are a fundamental part of the human experience. They color our perceptions, influence our decisions, and drive our actions. But here's the thing. While we can't always control our initial emotional reactions, we can control how we respond to them. Controlling your mind doesn't mean suppressing your emotions or always trying to be positive. It means developing the ability to experience your emotions without being controlled by them. Think of it like this. Your emotions are like weather patterns in your mind. Just as you can't control the weather, you can't always control what emotions arise. But you can control how you respond to them. Just as you can choose whether to take an umbrella when it rains. One powerful technique for emotional regulation is called name it to tame it. When you're experiencing a strong emotion, simply naming it can help reduce its intensity. I'm feeling frustrated right now, or this is anxiety I'm experiencing. This simple act of labeling your emotions creates a bit of distance between you and the feeling. It reminds you that you are not your emotions. You're the observer of your emotions. Another important aspect of emotional regulation is understanding that all emotions, even the uncomfortable ones, have a purpose. They're giving you information about your internal state and your environment. For example, anger often arises when we perceive a boundary has been crossed. Instead of getting caught up in the anger, you can ask yourself, what boundary of mine is being violated here? How can I address this in a constructive way? Fear often arises when we're facing uncertainty or potential danger. Instead of letting fear paralyze you, you can ask, what is this fear trying to protect me from? Is the danger real or perceived? What steps can I take to address it? By approaching your emotions with curiosity, rather than judgment. You can extract valuable insights from them without letting them control your actions. Now let's talk about a crucial element in controlling your mind: your beliefs. Your beliefs are like the operating system of your mind. They shape your thoughts, influence your emotions, and ultimately determine your actions and results. The tricky thing about beliefs is that we often don't even realize we have them. They operate in the background, coloring our perceptions and influencing our decisions without us even being aware of it. For example, if you have a belief that money is the root of all evil, you might subconsciously sabotage your efforts to achieve financial success. If you believe that relationships always end in heartbreak, you might unknowingly push away potential partners. Controlling your mind means becoming aware of your beliefs and consciously choosing which ones to keep and which ones to change. Here's a powerful exercise. Take a piece of paper and write down your beliefs about success, money, relationships, health, any area of your life that's important to you. Then ask yourself, where did these beliefs come from? Are they serving me or limiting me? What evidence do I have for and against these beliefs? You might be surprised to find that many of your beliefs are not based on your own experiences or rational thought, but on things you were told as a child or messages you've absorbed from society. The good news is, once you become aware of a limiting belief, you can change it. You can choose to adopt a new, more empowering belief. For example, instead of "I'm not good at public speaking," you could choose to believe, "Public speaking is a skill I can improve with practice." Instead of "I always mess up relationships," you could believe, "Every relationship teaches me something valuable about myself and others." Remember, your beliefs create your reality, so why not choose beliefs that empower you and support your goals? Now, I want to address something that often comes up when we talk about controlling the mind. You see, a large portion of our daily actions are driven by habits, automatic behaviors that we perform with little or no conscious thought. These habits, whether good or bad, have a profound impact on our lives. Controlling your mind means taking charge of your habits. It means consciously choosing which habits to cultivate and which ones to eliminate. Here's the thing about habits. They're like compound interest for your life. Small, consistent actions repeated over time lead to massive results. This can work for you or against you, depending on the habits you've developed. For example, if you have a habit of hitting the snooze button and starting your day rushed and stressed, that's going to affect your mood, your productivity, and ultimately your results. On the other hand, if you have a habit of waking up early, exercising, and planning your day, you're setting yourself up for success before most people have even had their first cup of coffee. The key to changing habits is understanding how they work. Every habit has three components: a cue, a routine, and a reward. The cue triggers the behavior, the routine is the behavior itself, and the reward is what reinforces the behavior. By understanding this loop, you can start to change your habits. Identify the cues that trigger your bad habits and replace the routines with more positive behavior.